I opened the door, and there she was, Madison. My ex-wife. Swollen belly. Eyes puffy. Wearing the same perfume she used to drown herself in before a lie. My breath caught. "I need to talk," she said, voice trembling. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. I just stared at the woman who'd shattered me 6 months ago, now standing on my porch, heavily pregnant, begging for something. She put a hand on her stomach, as if that would soften me. "Please, Liam, it's not what you think." No, it was exactly what I thought. Flashback 6 months earlier, back when I still had a wife. A home. A life I believed in. That illusion crashed the night I followed her. She had said she was going to a conference. All weekend, she said. Company policy, Derek wants full presence. Derek, her boss. Married. Sleaze in a suit. Something in my gut screamed. The way she packed a red dress. The way she smiled when she didn't think I was watching. The way she clutched her phone like it held her secrets. I knew. I just knew. So I followed her. Didn't tell her. Didn't confront her. I waited. And then I watched her walk into a hotel not with Derek, but with Ryan. Our friend. My friend. Groomsman at our wedding. Ryan, who once toasted us as the perfect couple. I stayed in the shadows. Watched him grab her waist. Watched her lean in like she belonged to him now. Like I never existed. And still, I said nothing. Not that night. I waited until she got home. Waited until she kissed me with that same mouth she'd used to lie to me for months. I didn't blow up. I didn't shout. I disappeared the next morning. Packed what I needed. Canceled the lease. Left the rings. Took the dog. I ghosted her. She called for weeks. Texted. Sent long, rambling emails. I made a mistake. It meant nothing. It's you I love. I never answered. I wanted her to drown in silence. I thought that was the end. Until tonight. Now here she was. 6 months later. Belly round. Eyes desperate. I leaned against the doorframe. Is it mine? She flinched like I slapped her. No. No, it's not. It's Ryan's. But he left. He doesn't want it. I laughed. Laughed in her face. So you came crawling back to the man you cheated on because your backup plan failed? Her face crumbled. But I didn't feel pity. Just this dark, rising satisfaction. She chose chaos. Now she could live in it. Liam, I don't have anyone. You had someone. You threw him away. She opened her mouth again, and I slammed the door. Let her talk to the wood. Let her beg the silence. And just like that, everything began again. But this time, I was the one in control. I didn't sleep that night. After slamming the door in her face, I stood in the dark, heart racing, mind spinning. Madison, the woman who shattered me, was pregnant with Ryan's kid, got dumped, and now had the audacity to show up at my door like I owed her something. The same woman who destroyed our marriage one lie at a time was now trying to crawl back into my life because her fling blew up in her face. And still, there was a part of me that wanted to open that door again. Not because I loved her. That died months ago. But because I wanted answers. Real ones. Not the fake sob stories she spun while hiding text messages and sneaking away to girls' nights that never existed. So I did something I promised myself I wouldn't do. I opened the door. She was still there, sitting on the porch, arms wrapped around herself, mascara streaked. She looked up like a kicked dog. 5 minutes, I said. She stood quickly, like she thought she still had a chance. That maybe this was the start of some fairy tale reunion. Pathetic. We sat at the kitchen table. Same place she used to sip coffee and pretend to be the wife I thought she was. I leaned back, arms crossed. Talk. She sniffled. I didn't plan it. Ryan, it started after that trip to Chicago. We got drunk. You and I had been distant, and I cut her off. Don't blame me. You weren't distant when you were smiling at me that night, or when you sent me selfies while sneaking off to his hotel room. Her lip quivered. She looked ready to break. But I'd seen this act before. Tears when she's caught. Silence when she's safe. I was stupid, she whispered. But it wasn't just physical. He made me feel wanted. Wanted. I nearly laughed. You were married, Madison. You had someone who chose you every day. But you wanted butterflies. Congratulations. Now you're a single mom. She stared at me, and for a moment, I thought she might spit venom. But she just said the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I don't even know if it's his. My stomach turned. So what? You were screwing both of us around the same time. She didn't answer. Just looked down, shame finally showing on her face. Too late. I stood. I'm done. This isn't my problem. I've rebuilt my life, and you're not part of it. She reached for me. Please, Liam. I have no one. I don't want to do this alone. You chose to do this alone. You made your bed. Now lie in it. She didn't cry this time. She just stared. Cold. Quiet. And then, in that same venomous tone she used when things didn't go her way, she said, "You were never enough." Boom. There it was. The real Madison. No more tears. No more fake guilt. Just the same arrogant, selfish woman who tore our life apart and expected me to pick up the pieces. I opened the door again. "Get out." She walked past me without a word. No goodbye. No remorse. And as she disappeared into the night, I felt something I hadn't in months. Peace. But that peace wouldn't last. Because the next morning, I got a call from Ryan. And everything I thought I knew about her betrayal, it was just the beginning. The phone rang at 7:13 a.m. sharp. I was sitting at the edge of my bed, still running last night through my head like a movie I couldn't stop replaying. Madison's swollen belly, her crocodile tears, that venomous line. "You were never enough." And then, the phone lit up. Ryan. At first, I considered ignoring it. But something in me said pick up. So I did. "Liam," he said, voice raw and weirdly shaky. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But please, don't hang up. Why the hell are you calling me?" He sighed like he'd aged 10 years since I last saw him. "Because I screwed up. And you need to know what's coming." I sat up straighter. "What are you talking about?" "Madison," he said, voice dropping. "She told you the baby's mine, right?" Silence. That sinking feeling hit again. "That's what she said." "What?" He laughed, cold, bitter. "It's not mine, man. I got the DNA results 2 weeks ago. It's not even close." I stood. "Then whose is it?" "She doesn't know. Could be mine, could be yours, could be someone else's. But get this, I wasn't the only one she was with." My chest went hollow. "2 other guys," he continued. "One of them's married. Some executive at her firm. She was playing all of us. I only found out after she got weird about the baby. Started pushing for money. Said she'd tell his wife unless he paid her off. That's when I left." "You're telling me she's blackmailing people now?" "Yeah. And she's spiraling. I think she came to you because she's out of options. But dude, she's dangerous." I hung up without another word. I couldn't breathe. Not because of what Ryan said, because of how real it all felt now. Madison wasn't just a cheater. She was a manipulator. A full-blown con artist willing to wreck lives for a check, playing Russian roulette with 3 men's futures. And she had stood on my porch last night, pretending to be desperate. No, she wasn't desperate. She was cornered. I needed proof. I needed to know how deep this went. So I did what I should have done months ago. I checked her old iPad. The one she used to forget was linked to our cloud. I'd kept it in a drawer, untouched since I left. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. And there it was. Messages. Photos. Videos. She hadn't even tried to hide them. Madison and Ryan in bed. Madison in some suit I didn't recognize, champagne in hand. Madison texting another contact saved as J. Explicit promises, money requests, hotel locations. It was all there, like a digital diary of betrayal. And then I found the group chat. She'd been bragging about it. To her friends. Joking about how easy it was to milk men when they're emotionally attached. She even called me the safe option. The fallback guy. The rage I felt. It wasn't hot. It was ice cold. I started screenshotting everything. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew this wasn't over. Not anymore. Madison didn't just betray me. She weaponized me. And I wasn't going to be her victim again. Not after what I saw next. An appointment. Booked under her name. At a paternity lab. Scheduled for tomorrow. She didn't know I knew. But I was going to be there. And I was going to end this story on my terms. The waiting room smelled like bleach and nervous sweat. Bright, artificial lighting buzzed overhead, casting everything in a sterile glow. I sat in the corner chair, hoodie up, sunglasses on, trying to stay unnoticed. I'd arrived 20 minutes early, just in case. My heart thudded like a war drum in my chest. It was happening. Today, I'd look into her eyes, not as her ex-husband, not as her fallback plan, but as the man holding every truth she tried to bury. I checked the appointment list on the digital screen by the counter. Madison Carter, 9:30 a.m. Still there. Still real. At exactly 9:27, the door swung open. And there she was. Madison. Hair tied in a messy bun. Oversized sweater draped over her fake vulnerability like a costume. One hand on her swollen stomach, the other texting furiously. She didn't even look up. She walked straight to the receptionist. Madison Carter. Paternity confirmation. The nurse nodded politely. Please take a seat. We'll call you in shortly. She turned around and froze. Our eyes met. Her face went pale like she'd seen a ghost. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. I stood slowly. Calm. Cold. Expecting someone else. She blinked rapidly. What are you doing here? I saw the appointment on your cloud. You should have wiped your devices, Madison. I didn't mean to, she stammered. To get caught. I interrupted. Again. People were starting to glance over. She leaned in, whispering harshly. This isn't the place. No, I said. It's the perfect place. A nurse called us in. Madison Carter? She turned and followed, and I followed her. We were led to a small consultation room. A technician greeted us with forced cheer. We'll take a quick cheek swab from both the alleged father and the mother today. Madison forced a smile. We may need to schedule a few more. The tech chuckled, not catching the layers in her sarcasm. I sat. The swab was quick. Efficient. No drama. Until Madison opened her mouth. He's trying to manipulate me, she told the technician. He's bitter. He left me when I needed him most. I laughed. Loud, harsh, ugly. Tell her the rest, Madison. Tell her how many men you slept with in our marriage. Or how you tried to blackmail Ryan after he dumped you. Or that this baby could belong to a married man you threatened. The technician paused, eyes flicking between us. Sir, she said gently, maybe let's keep it civil for the sake of the test. I nodded. Right. Civil, like my wife when she was bragging in group chats about milking emotional men for attention and cash. Madison's mask cracked. You went through my phone. I went through our iPad. Linked to your cloud. Your ego left breadcrumbs everywhere. She went silent, face burning red. When the appointment ended, we walked out in silence. In the parking lot, she finally spoke. You think you're righteous, Liam? You're not. You just wanted to feel superior. You wanted control. No, I said. I wanted peace. You took that from me. Now I'm taking it back. Her voice hardened. If you think this is over, you're wrong. I leaned closer, low and calm. You just lost your final lifeline, Madison. You came crawling back to me because every other man ran. And now you'll crawl alone. She opened her mouth to fire back. But my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without breaking eye contact. Mr. Carter, a man's voice said. My name is David Cole. I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Jenkins. I believe your ex-wife is attempting to extort him. He'd like to speak with you. I smiled as Madison's face drained. Checkmate. I pulled into the parking lot of a downtown law firm, a sleek glass building that screamed money and confidentiality. I wasn't sure what to expect when I walked in. All I knew was that David Cole had sounded serious. And if Madison really tried to blackmail a married executive, this was bigger than just betrayal. This was criminal. A receptionist led me to a private conference room. Inside sat a sharply dressed man in his late 50s, Mr. Jenkins. Cold eyes, gold cufflinks, and a jaw that looked like it had clenched through decades of high-stakes meetings. Beside him was Cole, his lawyer. Mr. Carter, Jenkins said, offering his hand without standing. Thank you for coming. Please sit. I shook it. Firm. Controlled. Sat down. Let me get to the point, he said. 6 months ago, I made the worst mistake of my life. I had an affair. With your ex-wife. I didn't flinch. You and every other man in her contacts. Cole smirked. Jenkins didn't. She told me she was leaving you. Said you were abusive. That she was scared for her safety. My jaw tightened. I believed her. I helped her financially. Lodging, a car, even a down payment on a condo. Thought I was saving her. He paused, then slid a manila envelope across the table. I opened it. Photos. Screenshots. Voice messages. Madison bragging to her friend. Jenkins is easy. Thinks he's saving me. He's basically sponsoring my maternity leave. Another chat. If he stops paying, I'll tell his wife. Got enough saved to burn him down. Then there was the recording. I played it, heart racing. Madison's voice, icy and confident. You've got a lot to lose, Jenkins. One little email to your wife, and your perfect reputation goes up in flames. I'm not asking for much. Just enough to keep me comfortable. He was silent as I listened. I was silent when it ended. That's extortion, I said. Yes, Jenkins replied. And I'm prepared to press charges. But I thought you should know what kind of woman she is. In case she drags you into this. She already has. Then maybe it's time someone ends this. I nodded. I want in. He raised an eyebrow. I'm not talking money, I clarified. I'm talking exposure. She's been playing men like chess pieces. It's time she realizes she's not the one moving the board anymore. Jenkins smirked for the first time. Then let's bring the queen down. We planned everything in that room. Every step. By the time I left, I had copies of every file, every message, every lie, and a strategy. We were going to flip the game. The next day, I called Madison. She answered on the first ring. Liam, thank God. I've been thinking. About us. About the baby. Maybe we could. I need you to meet me. I cut her off. Tonight. Same hotel where you met Ryan. Silence. Then why? You want help? You want something from me? Meet me. And bring everything. Your truth. Your lies. All of it. She hesitated. Then said, fine. 8 p.m. That night. Where it all started. She had no idea what was waiting for her. She thought she still had control. She didn't know the king was done playing defense. 8 p.m. sharp. I sat in the corner booth of the hotel lounge, same one where Madison had first met Ryan behind my back. The air smelled like overpriced wine and corporate secrets. But tonight, I wasn't the fool drinking lies. I was the one setting the trap. Room 417 was already booked under my name. Inside it, a hidden camera, a voice recorder, and a laptop loaded with all the dirt Jenkins and I had gathered. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about making sure this woman couldn't destroy anyone else the way she had wrecked me. At 8:12, I saw her. Madison walked in wearing a tight black dress, the same one from the night I followed her 6 months ago. Her baby bump was smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I just didn't care enough to notice it anymore. She smiled, calculated, hollow. You look good, she said, sliding into the booth like nothing ever happened. I didn't smile back. Room 417. She raised an eyebrow. Straight to the point. I've wasted enough of my life playing nice. She hesitated, then stood. Lead the way. Inside the room, she took off her coat and turned to me. So why here? I gestured to the chair opposite the laptop. Because this is where everything started. I figured it should be where everything ends. Her face twitched, only for a second. You're being dramatic, Liam. I didn't come here to fight. Good, I said, opening the laptop. Because I didn't come here to argue. I came to show you this. I hit play. The screen filled with images, screenshots of her chats, the audio of her threatening Jenkins, her voice dripping with malice. She stood frozen. This is illegal, you can't. Illegal? I scoffed. Coming from someone who threatened a married man for cash? Who told multiple guys they were the father of her kid just to see who'd pay up? Her mouth opened, closed. You don't understand. I had no one. You left me. You cheated, Madison. You lied to my face for months, and when it fell apart, you came back hoping I was still stupid enough to catch you when the others let you fall. She stepped closer, tone shifting. Look, Liam, we don't have to do this. We were good once. I know I messed up, but maybe this baby can be a second chance. I laughed, genuinely. You don't even know whose baby it is. She slapped me. Not hard, not painful, just desperate. I didn't even blink. You done? I asked. Her chest rose and fell in panic. What do you want from me? I leaned in, voice low. You're going to walk out of here, and you're going to disappear. No more calls. No more games. No more showing up on my porch crying about a future you shattered. And if I don't, I hit a key. A folder opened. Titled, Evidence for Prosecution. Then this goes to the police. To your job. To Jenkins's lawyers. Hell, I'll send it to your parents if I have to. She stared at me, hatred and fear swirling in her eyes like a storm she couldn't control anymore. I'll ruin you, she hissed. No, I said. You did that to yourself. She stood there for a long time, as if calculating whether she could claw her way out of this one. She couldn't. She picked up her coat. You're a bastard. I smiled. Maybe, but I'm not your fool anymore. She slammed the door behind her. And just like that, it was over. Or so I thought. Because the next morning, I got an envelope under my door. No name. No return address. Inside, a paternity test result. And the name on the line that read, Father, was mine. My hands trembled as I held the paper. Paternity test results. Father, Liam Carter. I stared at that one line like it might change if I looked long enough. It didn't. The truth hit like a punch to the gut. The child was mine. I didn't know what to feel. Fury? Betrayal? Regret? This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't supposed to be a real consequence. Madison had lied so much, twisted so many stories, played everyone against each other. I never once considered that somewhere in her chaos, a piece of me had actually been created. I sat down, cold, numb. My first instinct was denial. Maybe it was fake. Maybe she forged it to get back in my head. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Madison wasn't the type to hand me power unless she had a reason. I was pacing the floor when my phone buzzed. Unknown number again. I answered. Her voice. Calm. Calculated. Controlled. So, got the envelope. You planned this. You think I'd hand you that without knowing exactly what it would do to you, she said smoothly. You wanted closure. You wanted control. Well, congratulations, Dad. I clenched my jaw. If this is some kind of leverage, it won't work. You don't scare me. I'm not trying to scare you, she said. I'm trying to remind you that whatever game you think you won last night isn't over. You walked away thinking you crushed me, Liam. But now you're tied to me forever. Your blood is inside me. And I know you well enough to know you won't abandon your own child. The room spun. My mind raced. I'll take full custody, I growled. You'll never use that kid as a weapon against me. She laughed. Sweetheart, you really think a court will hand a newborn to a man who ghosted his wife and ignored her pregnancy? I felt a burn rise up my spine. She was playing long-term now, lining up narratives, rebuilding the sympathy card. I stayed silent. Look, she said, switching tones, softening like she always did when she wanted something. We don't have to go to war. We could find a way. Co-parent. Be civil. Maybe even. Stop, I cut in. You don't want civil. You want control. And if you think I'll let you raise my child with the same poison you used on me, you've lost your mind. I hung up. I needed help. Legal help. Fast. I called Jenkins. Told him everything. He didn't even hesitate. I've got a team. Top tier. I'll cover it. She's not dragging anyone else down. That afternoon, I met with the firm. Laid out everything. Messages, recordings, behavior, blackmail attempts. The lawyer listened carefully, took notes, nodded. You've got a strong case for primary custody, he said. But we'll need to act fast. She's volatile, and she'll try to flip the narrative. Especially if she thinks it'll hurt you. What do? I asked. Let her talk. Let her threaten. Let her dig the hole. And meanwhile, we'll prepare for court. For the first time in weeks, I felt clarity. Not peace. Not yet. But purpose. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about saving a part of me from the mess she created. It was about that unborn child. My child. I didn't ask for this. But I'd be damned if I let her ruin his life the way she tried to ruin mine. I picked up my phone. One more call to make. To Madison. This time, it wasn't for closure. It was for war. The phone rang once. Twice. She picked up on the third, her voice already smug. Did you calm down yet? I didn't waste a second. You're not raising my son. Silence. She hadn't expected that. Excuse me. I've already retained lawyers. Jenkins is backing me. I have audio of you threatening him. Screenshots of you juggling men like poker chips. Your group chats. Your blackmail. Your lies. I have it all, Madison. This isn't some emotional plea. This is a legal war, and I'm coming for full custody. I could practically hear her heartbeat spike through the silence. You wouldn't dare. I already did. I cut her off. You're doing this because I hurt your pride, she snapped, her voice rising. You're punishing me because I chose someone else. No, Madison. I'm doing this because my son deserves better than growing up thinking manipulation is love. Because he deserves better than you. She tried to spin it, of course. That's who she was. You don't know how hard this pregnancy's been. You don't know what it's like doing it alone. I do, I said flatly. Because you chose to do it alone. You didn't call when you found out. You waited until your circus collapsed. Until every man you clung to let go. And then you came back. Not for me. For survival. I'm not your lifeline anymore. You think the court's going to hand him over to you? She hissed. You left me. You disappeared. You slept with 3 men and blackmailed one of them, I replied. You recorded yourself admitting it. I didn't disappear. I escaped. She hung up. But I knew it wasn't over. The next 3 months were chaos. Petty threats. Vague online posts. Her trying to paint herself as a victim, as a poor abandoned mother, betrayed by a cold husband. But I stayed quiet. I didn't react publicly. Let her scream into the void while my lawyers built a wall of facts, evidence, and truth. Court day came. She walked in with that same confidence she always wore like armor. But her smile faltered when she saw my lawyer's briefcase. The judge listened to everything. The recordings. The group chat screenshots. Madison tried to cry, to spin, to blame it on emotional trauma and post-marital instability. But the facts didn't bend. Not this time. In the end, the judge didn't shout. He didn't need to. He ruled in my favor. Primary custody. Full decision-making rights. Madison was allowed monitored visits, but only after psychological evaluation and parenting courses. She screamed in the hallway, said I was heartless, a bastard, a manipulator. But I didn't even look back. It's been a year. My son, Ethan, was born healthy, strong, loud. He has her eyes, but not her shadow. And I'll make damn sure it stays that way. I've learned more about diapers, 3 a.m. cries, and formula than I ever thought possible. And I've never once wished she was here. Sometimes I still hear from people who knew us. They ask if I hate her. The answer is no. I don't hate her. I pity her. She had love, loyalty, a life people dream about, and she burned it for attention, for cheap thrills, for temporary highs that left permanent scars. But I came out stronger, not because I fought back, but because I finally stopped fighting for her. And if I could say one thing to any man reading this, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Because some women don't need saving. They need consequences.